So, chapter 2.5, inequalities. I think inequalities show up again in chapter 6, if I remember correctly. Um, you're dealing with inequalities, which are a whole lot like equations with a little bit extra stuff. So, less than, greater than, plus or minus infinity. You're going to use parentheses or an open circle. For less than equal to or greater than equal to, you will use square brackets or a closed dot. Make sure you have my steps if you're solving them by hand. Okay? So number one asks you to just write the interval notation. Interval notation means writing it as an interval with parentheses and brackets, that kind of thing. So let me get it all set up here. First thing you got to do is solve it. So divide by 4, and that leaves 4y plus 4 smaller than equal to 4, and then minus 4, well, that gives us 0. So stuff smaller than 0, when I divide, I get y being smaller than 0. Now, if you remember, it showed this solid line and everything highlighted to the left of 0. Remember, less than, greater than, plus minus infinity gets parenthesis. On a number line, here's 0. As you go to the left all the way to infinity, left negative infinity, okay? All of that on a number line to the arrow would be highlighted. So infinity gets a parenthesis, but there was a solid line at 0. Solid line and equal get a bracket. This end is negative infinity. This end is 0. So this would be your interval notation. Now the first thing I would do here is multiply by 12 and kill the fractions, because I don't like dealing with fractions. So when I times by 12, times by 12, times by 12, then what I get is 4x minus 3 parenthesis x plus 2 bigger than, equal to 0. And now we distribute the 3. So 4x minus 3x minus 3x minus 6 bigger than, equal to 0. 4x's minus 3x's gives us 1x minus 6 bigger than or equal to 0. Now we add 6. Notice I'm not going back to all of the rules for solving because that was in chapter 1. Now, bigger than, equal to 6. So if I do a number line, here's 6, bigger, and that goes to positive infinity, and it's equal. Equal means a bracket, infinity means a parenthesis. And it did say interval notation. Now, this one doesn't say interval. It says inequality notation. And it does say to graph it. So we have to do both. Now, instead of 2 pieces, we have 3. The first piece we have to get rid of, parentheses or exponents, multiply or divide, add or subtract. So the first thing we get rid of, because remember we got to go up the order, so we got to get rid of this minus. So we add 2 to all 3 pieces. So that gives us 6 smaller than. Now, this piece right here, I can rewrite as y divided by 2. Choppa choppa. And a plus 2 is 10. Now the next step, get rid of multiply or divide by doing the opposite. So the opposite of divide is to times. And I have to times to all 3 pieces. Choppa choppa. Now, the nice part about this, it said inequality. Inequality notation. As soon as I get that done, that is inequality notation. Now to graph, here's 12, here's 20. Now, is there an equals here or here? No, there is not an equals in either spot. If there is not an equals, you use an open dot. And then After you choose the open dot, you choose the line and you fill that in between. Now, since for most of this you're going to use Desmos, for most of it. So this information right here really doesn't mean a whole lot. So don't worry about that. Now, let me graph that real quick because I don't remember. Yeah, I do remember. It was, if I remember correctly, it was -6 and +3. There's an equals, so you're going to use the closed dot and you're going to fill it in like this. Now the inequality, you're going to say -6 less than equal x less than equal 3. This one was -1, 4, and 5. There's an equals, so you're using closed, closed, closed. You're going to fill in here, and you're going to fill in this way all the way to the arrow. Don't stop until you get to the arrow. Now, to type this one in is odd. I'm just going to tell you. This one is a little persnickety, okay? You're going to say x less than equal -1 or 4 less than equal x less than equal 5. No spaces anywhere. And no caps. And then for this last one, it was from, here's 1.5, 2. So you're going to use an open circle and an open circle, and you're going to fill in the middle. And you're going to do this, inequality. Scratch that. Inequality. So 1.5 smaller than x smaller than 2. And that's it. Holler if you need me.